You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Some things happen fast, like a vacuum finding your lost earring. A dog reacting to the word walk. And settling up with friends on the PayPal app. Send and receive money in seconds. Access your balance to send, shop, pay bills, and more. Download the PayPal app to get started. An account with PayPal is required to send and receive money. A PayPal balance account is required to hold and use a balance.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
It's really cool.
Bonjour, hello, and welcome to the Rosbif Rugby podcast, your one-stop shop for all things French rugby. The top 14 Pro D2 Nationale, the Champions Challenge Cups, the French national team. We'll be covering a bit of all of that, as well as the brilliant town, cities, bars, restaurants, people, fans, stadiums, everything that makes the French rugby experience so fantastic. Rob, you are back from been on your travels again, little excursion. Talk me through it.
Yeah. As I said last year when I did my trip to Lyon, we're not like the massive jet setters. It's just I had a companion voucher to use up, and as is my custom, planned it with a week to go. So had limited options. But yeah, we went to Perugia in Umbria, which is near Tuscany. It's kind of central northern Italy, and it was bloody lovely. Cannot recommend it enough, at least for a little weekend. I think if you spent a week there, you'd kind of want to visit the bits around it, maybe go to Assisi to see some of the kind of cultural, historical stuff with St. Francis. But yeah, like cheaper, slightly more rough around the edges version of Tuscany, which I'm all here for. Some
very nice.
Unbelievable wines, unbelievable food. Like all the food was just so good. Perugia also home to, as of this weekend, back-to-back European Champions League winners in what sport, Richard?
I'm going to go handball.
Not far off, volleyball.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they're the club world champions.
Really?
2025. And then, because there was a big thing like in the airport, like a kind of mural on like basically on the exit to security. And then I looked them up, and they actually played the Champions League semi-finals and finals this weekend, but it was in Turin, not in Perugia. I
was going to ask Polish team. I was going to ask if you'd managed to sneak in. I don't know, like watching the Perugia Pirates Rugby Club are playing at home in their big access match, or what a surprise.
No, but we did. We made friends with a lovely guy called Vito who runs a bar called Amphora, which is a natural wine bar, but also sells his wife's ceramics. So kind of a double entendre with the word Amphora. One of his childhood friends, so he's from Naples. One of his childhood friends was Alessandro Fusco.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was like, it's like one of my friends, like one of my really good friends from childhood plays rugby for the Italy team. I was like, oh, yeah, go on then. What's his name? And my girlfriend was like, did we see him play? It's like, yes. It's like, what position is he? The same one as the Peugeot man. It's like, okay.
Amazing. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't know much about Italian rugby history, but it's kind of down south Naples. I would have assumed less of a hotbed.
I said this to Vito, and then also confirmed it with when I was talking to Spritz and Scrums about it. They were like, "Oh, is he from Naples?" And I said, "Yeah." How do you? They obviously must know that maybe Fusco is kind of slightly famous for for being from Naples because, yeah, as they said, they confirmed there are not a lot of rugby players in Naples.
Very nice.
Down south, but yeah.
Sounds delightful. Very, very good.
You watched some ruggers at the weekend?
I did.
You had a big kick off for your summer?
Yeah, big summer kick-off. Hard-Fi were pre-game.
No way!
Hard-Fi, yeah.
Staines' finest.
Is that where they're from? Staines?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
That's why they've got like their first album. There's a few like random, there's like references to Heathrow quite a lot.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I felt a little bit. It was a strange day out. Like I've been to one of those. I've been to one of them before. Like previously, I think Quins have done the at Christmas. It's been rammed, hasn't it? And this one was a little bit more of a. Felt like a bit more of a jolly than like a massive sporting affair. But yeah, it was actually a pretty good game. Not if you're an Exeter fan like myself, where they kind of half imploded and half just got blown away in the second half. But yeah, it was quite good fun. But yeah, Hard-Fi, mate. Difficult stadium. Kind of getting blared out was you could basically barely hear it. It was not
echoing around the Allianz because it was half full.
It was not ideal from an acoustic standpoint, but yeah, all quite good fun. Afterwards, a couple of our friends live around sort of Twickenham, Strawberry Hill area, so swerved and happened to be going past Twickenham Green where they were playing some cricket, which I'd never actually been there before.
I've played there
and had a pint of Bomb Squad South African lager.
Oh, nice!
Which I don't know whose brewery it is. Or
it's Trevor Nyakani.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Trevor. It's Trevor Nyakani and Oxenchae, I think.
Oh, very good. Okay, yeah, it's quite.
But yeah,
nice.
I've seen it advertised before. You can buy it in those Savannah, those South African.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's £5 a pint. Nice view on the green. Bit of cricket. Can't go wrong. But we've got lots. There's been a lot happening in the world of French rugby. We've got the Champions Cup coming up, the Challenge Cup with Montpellier involved, Pro D2 shaken out, and a really fascinating round of the top 14. And then you've got Nationale. There is so much to get through, and even to add to that, we've got a very special interview coming up later as well.
Hi guys, it's Rob here. Just a very quick interlude to say that this is one of a few references you might hear in this episode to an interview with Cohen Bosch, which doesn't actually happen on this episode. That will hopefully be coming to you later in the week as a special podcast episode. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that really, really cool interview with Cohen Bosch. Just had a few logistical issues earlier on in the week, but make sure you subscribe and enjoy that when it comes. On with the pod.
Shall we start where we usually do, top 14, which is just really peaking nicely, I would say.
It's so squeaky. I just absolutely love how it just turns. I don't know when it happened. It probably happens after the Champions Cup quarterfinals, I reckon. I feel like it's whenever the early part of the cricket season, when you're like catching up on games, it's suddenly you look at the scores and you're just like, oh my god, this is so tense, and there's jeopardy like all of a sudden in so many games. It was the halftime scores this weekend in the multiplex were all a couple of points here or there or level, and then with the exception of even Montauban were quite close, but Bordeaux were trailing Perpignan. Like it was just having had a game that was level with three minutes to go as the early kick-off. It's just all so tight and so tense. I love it. Absolutely love it. Can't get enough.
Yeah, it's been a good end to the regular season, as it were. I think the kind of bottom, we know there's a top 8 now, right? And we kind of know that I think Toulon are adrift and a few of the others are adrift, and Perpignan have been in the access match since week 8. But yeah, at the top then, I suppose maybe the most
actually
interesting.
Nothing changed really.
Well, nothing's changed.
Apart from the one change, which is actually quite interesting.
There's a lot of what would I say? There's some pretty consequential fixtures coming up as well, which I think is also why it's so interesting. The big probably ascension of the last few weeks has been La Rochelle, right? Who have looking somewhere back to their best and absolutely dusted Toulouse at the Marcel de Flandre on Sunday night. And they are, where are they? Are they 7th or are they 8th?
They are 8th.
3 points off, is that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is fascinating because for however, they were at one point kind of staring down the barrel of a Bayonne-like run of home form, were struggling to get wins away, and then now they've won their last 4, including against Bordeaux and Toulouse, and then 2 away wins.
Yeah,
which is quite the upturn in form. Do you see them? The next game against Montauban as well, which is. Do you see them vaulting into that top 6?
Yes,
at the expense of.
I looked at this yesterday. It's updated. Yes, it has. Clermont. So because they have Montauban at home next, and Clermont host Racing 92, but then the final week Clermont have to go to Bordeaux and La Rochelle have Stade Francais at home, and that I have them leapfrogging them, but gaining 1 extra point than Clermont in those fixtures by virtue of the presumably a bonus point away at Montauban.
Interesting.
Sorry, they get to 1 extra point. So does that mean where are they level now? Sorry, no, they're 4 behind. But yeah, I think I can't bother to explain the maths, but they get there.
Fair enough.
They get an extra win. They get an extra win, and they get a bonus point, and that takes them a point above Clermont.
Interesting. Well, just as a bit of an aside on La Rochelle, a guy who has had he's still very, very young, but I guess slightly patchy career since his Olympic triumph, but whose medical joker move to La Rochelle has coincided with this run of form is Andy Timo.
Yeah,
who finished off an absolute worldie of a try against Toulouse, but probably not the person I would have said would have been quite so influential in a massive run to the barrage at the end of the year. I just thought a really, really nice story for someone who'd kind of. Did he play any games last year for Stade Francais? Maybe like a handful.
Yeah, I think he might have played once or twice this season early on, but
I think he did early, didn't he, off the bench? Yeah. And then I think got his 00 Sekou boots on and had a game on the wing in one of them as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
which is quite good fun. But yeah, quite a cool story. There've been a few this year.
The player for me that I think has been excellent, who's finally fit for La Rochelle, one of the players that we'll talk a lot about Pro D2 in this, came up from Pro D2 last year. Semi Langevala has been really, really good the last couple of weeks. Not quite seen everything that he can do in attack, although we saw glimpses of him like linking with Bottia, which is just like some sort of Fijian axis of they're on the same wavelength and they just power over people. But defensively, Langevala has been unbelievable the last couple of weeks, including not just tackling but the breakdown as well. So yeah, I'm claiming that. Saw him at Mont-de-Marsan last year, said he was going to be really good, and finally, now that he's got fit, looks really good. The other player I want to highlight is Charles Kantesamba, who seems to be a bit of a main man in the pack these days. Youngster, still looks kind of like Oredu like a couple of years ago, just looks like he's got some filling out to do. Clearly a really good athlete and aerial man in the line out, but will needs to bulk up and will do because he's 20. I think they've got a good one there. I think the other player that has drawn lots of headlines and stuff from us over the last couple of seasons really, but had a fantastic game and seems to be looking fresher and sharper, which has been what we've said is the issue for him, is Greg Aldrit. I thought he had another really, really good game. I don't think he has been pretty consistent for La Rochelle this season. It's just whether it's every part of his game that we came used to expecting is there, and I think it's finally kind of coming back to everything. Like it was kind of always the tackling and the breakdown, but his carrying and his offloading is now back to kind of where it was.
Yeah, he certainly
was this game anyway.
He's so powerful, but he looks a little bit kind of lighter on his feet, a bit more time on the ball. I thought he looked a bit, maybe the sort of an unfair confirmation bias because he's going pretty well, but I thought he looked a little bit trimmer as well, just generally a bit kind of faster and more athletic. And,
I think he has looked cumbersome, hasn't he? Like over the last couple of years, it's just looked a bit difficult for him. Whereas now it looks a little bit, he looks like the try he scores is a really dynamic, sharp carry that you'd get from the guys that have replaced him, that you get from Nucci or Olivon or whoever, or Matthew. Like, it was kind of that sort of carry that he scores his try with. That said, the first 20 minutes of this game was dreadful. It was a 10-minute. It was about the 20-minute mark. Everyone that I've kind of just mentioned there, like Kante Samba scored, Aldrich scored, but up to the 20th minute, it was so poor. And then La Rochelle had a 10-minute burst where they were unbelievable and scored 3 tries, and it was kind of game done there. And Toulouse never looked like doing that much at all, from what I could tell. Yeah, they're really, really underwhelming performance from Toulouse. And I kind of I hadn't seen the team beforehand, and I kind of saw the result and was like, God, did they send like the kids or something? And no, they sent a really good team, or certainly a team good enough capable of doing better than that.
Got blown away a little bit. But
I think like there's an element of, there's you kind of want to jump to a conclusion there, but it's weeks away from finals rugby. They'll click into gear, unfortunately, at some point.
I wouldn't worry too much about Toulouse. A question for you, Rob. Pau, another win, late, fairly narrow win over Clermont, who you mentioned there. You feel might drop out of that top 6. As a Pau fan, are you pleased that they're getting through in a couple of slightly squeakier ones? Like, it wasn't entirely one-way traffic against Cast. I think the game before that at home wasn't like a complete dusting that we've been used to.
It was the Racing one. Where there was a 10-point swing in the space of like 1 minute.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was tight, wasn't it? Right at the end. Of course it was. Are you, getting over the line in tough ones, or are you, it's not as convincing as it was at the start of the season? Where do you land?
I think for now, I'm happy that we are getting over the line, and we haven't lost ground in that playoff race and the race for second. And the fact that we are getting over the line is good. We picked up an attacking bonus point at the end against Bayonne away, although we did cook it up at the end away at Stade Francais. But you'd rather be on the right side of these kind of last minute things, or like late on things. I think there's still a lot of improvements to be made, and I just hope that they are learning. I don't want to go down the kind of media trained response, but it feels like they need to start learning from some of these errors and mistakes that they're making in games. Like, they're not quite being clinical enough. Have you seen the last few minutes of this game?
I've seen the Pau try, the Daniel Bibi Biziwu becoming sort of
DBB becoming FBB.
Josh Tuisova.
Yeah, he has absolutely no intention of passing that ball as well. That's the best thing. Like, Zagur is on his shoulder, and he's just like, I don't think he's heard him.
And absolutely quite right too.
It was, that was actually a really good try, and they kept their composure for that one to score. However, the composure ended there. The finish this game was utterly bizarre. So, post-score with a couple of minutes to go, and let me get the... Right, so the kickoff, or Clermont kickoff, Pau in the 22, and they're winding down the clock with short carries and rucks inside their own 22, which already feels quite dicey. They are kind of not making any ground defending. They're going backwards towards their try line. They're just going backwards. Dan Robson passes it to Jack Maddox, and Jack Maddox kicks it out. But there are still 3 seconds left. But the way he's kicked it out, as though he's ended the game, has given Clermont a 5-metre line out, which they throw and Pau steal, and then it gets reset because the numbers are kind of all over the place. The second one, they go to the tail, and Credos just about gets up, and it gets given as not straight. So Pau then have the option of scrum or line out. Pau take the scrum. Daniel Bibi Biziwu, fresh from his game-busting run, is hooked for Kaulashvili for the final scrum. Scrum goes down, gets reset. Then the scrum completes, and Pau are like teetering. They just about hook it back. Dan Robson fishes it out of like halfway through the second row, lobs it back, and completely misses Axel Desperez. And so it goes dead. And understandably, the Claremont players are like, well, he's thrown it out. It's gone straight out. It's gone straight out because that would then be a penalty. The referee's like, nah.
Wow.
Just kind of like, because it's clearly not intentional. It's an execution error, not or like lack of communication. It was just like on 3 separate occasions they tried their best to throw the game away. So you asked about, am I happy that Perth gave the line? In that regard, yes, because they tried very, very hard to really screw that up.
Amazing. That what you said about Robson at the end there, that's the first game of rugby I saw this season when we went to the Women's World Cup, Fiji-Wales. That's exactly how it ended. The scrum half just missed the fly half who was there to kick the ball out. But it was just a massive miscommunication rather than trying to wang it straight out. That's mad. Also, that is on the prop replacement. That is a massive bugbear for me with the top 14 sub rules. I hate.
Well, they're getting rid of it, aren't they?
Are they? I didn't know that. Yeah, I absolutely hate that.
They're going to normal subs next year.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I just think it's not the NFL. You don't have special teams coming on for like 1 minute plays. I always remember that game. It was when Bordeaux beat Toulouse at Stade Ernest Fallon last year, and Toulouse got a 5 metre line out of the last play, and they just bring on Manny Miafu, who's been sat with his feet up for half an hour. Like, okay, cool. Let's see how this one goes. Well, exciting stuff. I didn't know that Lex O'Callaghan really was that much better than Daniel Bibi Baziwi. But yeah, there you go. Well, Daniel Bibi Baziwi post 30 metre break up field, the two different characters. I guess just to round out that kind of the barrage places top 6. Stade Francais comfortable over Montauban, as to be expected. Montpellier, yet another team to unfortunately do cast at home, but they keep marching on. And we'll play Pau, right, in 2 weeks' time. That's the massive game. Very much after the Lord Mayor show, after the Champions Cup final. That one's Champions League final has been pushed, I think, isn't it? Because they've changed the. They've got 2 games that Sunday, I guess, to accommodate for that, and all the rest are early. But we'll preview that next week.
There were some soft tries from Montpellier in this. Some of the defence from Cast was
disinterested. Yeah,
like really, really like meek.
Yeah, it's been one of those seasons, unfortunately, for Cast.
Remy Baget was amazing in this game.
The original spy, doing some very kind of spy-like things.
Just like what a magician. The other bloke who did something absolutely magical was Florian Verhaag.
Incredible.
That offload is like that's one of those ones that you have to watch like multiple times to kind of work out how it's happened. There's also it's also off the back of that, Baptiste Adoshi is just fizzing a miss ball off his right out to the wing. Like two guys that had unbelievable games.
The closest thing to like proper sleight of hand I've seen in quite a long time. Like, you're right. You need to slow it down. Verhaeg's had an amazing season at Montpellier. He's been colossal for them. Lyon beat Bayonne in a bit of a dead rubber, albeit quite an entertaining one. And then, Bordeaux were really, really made to work by Perpignan, which, regardless of them having their eyes on this weekend, understandably, and well, they picked a pretty strong side for it. But Perpignan with. I don't know, a shot to nothing, pressure off. I don't know what you can roll out.
Do
all
you know
the
what?
cliches,
Like, as the game was about to kick off, I was like, do you know what? I've got a sneaking feeling for Perpignan. I just think I saw the team selection. I thought, it looks like a bit of a proper side. Bordeaux slightly rotated. I don't know. I just had a little bit of a hunch. I know they didn't do it in the end, but it did feel like there was I had banana skin properties when I saw the state of the Perpignan side, because obviously they've been a kind of bit mix and match generally over the last few months with their team selections. It just felt like there was a little bit more cohesion in that side and a bit more capability.
Yeah, hard to disagree. And maybe slightly ominous for any side that whoever it's going to be that faces them in the access match, albeit that's kind of been the only time they've really that's like their performance of the season, right? So yeah, I don't want to kind of read too much into that, but yeah, interesting nonetheless. I guess as well, we saw with Bordeaux, didn't we, before the game against Bath, they got beaten at home by Montpellier. I think there has to be a little bit of a eyes on the bigger prize to an extent with some of these fixtures.
Didn't they slip up against Stade Francais? Was that in the Six Nations, maybe?
That was in the Six Nations, or just before the Six Nations.
Yeah, they slipped up at home to Stade Francais as well. I was just trying to find the Midi Olympique team of the week. I can't see it because I wanted to see if Remy Baget was in it. I imagine Verhaeghe probably won the Oscar of the week or the Star or whatever they call it, but I couldn't see it anyway. But yeah, anything? Have we covered everything? Toulon Racing.
Toulon Racing.
Oh, Toulon Racing, where there was an unbelievable interception from Melvin Jaminet. Like his reading of it,
is
fantastic. So good. The second try is like Dreyan shows some unbelievable gas. Like absolutely wheels. But what I want to talk about in this is the concurrent yellows, or the two players sent to the bin at the same time, Antoine Frisch and Taniela Tupou. Antoine Frisch flooring with a shove Taniela Tupou. I don't quite know how it erupts, but it's proper like, I think Frisch is like a supporting carrier or kind of comes in on Tupou like as they go and like gets him from behind maybe and like gets him in the back, and then Tupou kind of like takes exception to that and tries to lash out a little bit, and they kind of go after each other a bit, and then Frisch like shoves Tupou to the deck and he flies backwards floored, and then Tupou's like chasing after him a little bit. It's like, oh my god, this is like, and then it could properly erupt. And fair play to Antoine Frisch for taking on the Tongan Thor. I was like, that is A, for pushing him over, and B, for being like, I'm going to have you. Also, I love about Antoine Frisch is that just always gets completely forgotten. He's just such like, he could be like a bloke that you meet on the street out. You could have met him on Saturday at the Allianz doing the big summer kickoff. Like his accent is so like posh English boy, or just annoying, like typical rugby lad from the home counties. So like when I was like, who's that? When they were talking to the ref, I was like, who said that? And I was like, oh yeah, it's Frisch talking. Well,
you got to be a tough guy. Like it's a tricky afternoon. You're getting chased by Taniela Tupou, and you're lining up against Joshua Tuisova, who was on one as well.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Easy to forget how quick Tuisova is as well, isn't it? Like
he's also still got this thing where it's not. I don't. He's not the sort of guy who doesn't try, but there are times when it's very obvious that he's like, right, fuck this. I'm going to do it myself. Like the number, and he scored a try in this one, didn't he? Where he's just bulldozed like through two separate lines of defence.
Yeah.
You're like, God, when the guy's in that mood, that it's just on a completely different planet.
And it's like exacerbated by the fact that once he's done the outrageous thing and he knows he's in the clip, he will like basically start like decelerate to a gentle trot just to kind of rub it in, being like, okay, I'm done now.
Oh, what a guy.
Anyway, Antoine Frisch gone right up in my estimation.
Harder than you think.
Yeah.
Nice. We should we've got a week off from the top 14. We should look ahead then to a couple of teams we mentioned in there. Bordeaux, first of all, Champions Cup final.
Can I just say one other thing on the top 14, which does involve Bordeaux? I think the way it's going now, with the fact that La Rochelle might get into sixth, means that Bordeaux are likely to finish fifth, which is fantastic news for Pau if they finish third, because it means we would miss Bordeaux. But it does mean that Bordeaux would probably have to beat Stade Francais away, which they did a couple of years ago, I think, or they did.
Yeah.
But it would then also most likely mean if Bordeaux finish fifth, there is no way that there can be a Bordeaux-Toulouse final. So, or even if they finish fourth, there is no way that we can have a Bordeaux-Toulouse final. So we won't have the third. It's never happened before. The same finalists 3 years in a row, and it doesn't look like we will get it.
Is that only if they finish fifth?
If they finish sixth, then they can finish, and then they'll meet in the final,
or could meet in the final.
Or could meet in the final, yeah. And the way Bordeaux, I know we're about to talk about them, the way they're going at the moment, I feel like
I'd back them to beat Toulouse in a semi. In a final, maybe not, because I still think there's a mental hurdle. But yeah, I think that they're just eking out wins. Like, they have picked up some really impressive wins lately, Bordeaux, without being the all-conquering, electrifying Bordeaux that we've seen, which doesn't bode well for Leinster, I would say. I've now moved on to this weekend.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really. I mean, we feel like we speak about Bordeaux so much. Like, there's not much point sitting here being like, oh, this guy, that guy's in such great form, because we've been saying it all year. Yeah, to your point, it's interesting. They've had to, I guess, do it the hard way a little bit, haven't they? A couple of games in the top 14, a couple away from home, sneaking over the line. The one question, and it's not that you've seen it, or it's been evident in the way they've been playing, but that group has had to play a lot of rugby, and I do wonder if they're a little bit of there could be some sort of fatigue element in there. I know they changed it a bit at the weekend, but ideally at home to a team that are second bottom and done, you would not want to be playing Jalabert, LBB, who I know had a bit of a knock after the game. Apparently was seen limping off down the tunnel, which would be mad if he wasn't available. Time for Mados Tamwe before he heads off to Bayonne. But yeah, it's I don't know. But I think it will be. I feel like it could be quite tight.
What I would say on that though is, since the semi-final, so Poirot obviously missed that because of his ban, so he'll be back, which is big for them. But that's another player that's like missed a few games. He's back. Falatea is back. I don't think that will make a difference, but the fact that Falatea has been playing has meant that they've been able to give some rest, or they've got the option of having a third brilliant tight head, but it has mean they've been able to rest Sardi and Tamafuna a little bit. And then the return this weekend of Pagerello, A, gives them a top quality 9 option, but B, meant that they also were able to rest Luku a little bit. So they have had, like, they've had the benefit of guys coming back from injury as well. I know they have played loads of games. Tell you who did get a rest this weekend for the first time this season.
Boris Parley. Feet up.
Yeah, finally. Well earned. I hope he's not injured. I hope that's just a rest to prep him for the.
Well, that was both of them, right? Because Swinton's come back.
Yeah, another one. So like they've been able to give like Boschton and Woki. Well, actually, no, Woki's played quite a lot, but they have been able. These guys have come back from injury, which has allowed them to get some rest into the other players, and also a bit of competition for places. It means that the likes of some of these guys have to step up their game. Someone like Tamafuna might have to step up his game to be in that final.
Mate, they're not going to not pick Ben Tamafuna, are they? Pick him in the centres.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously going to pick him for the chance that he's going to win the game. They're going to win, and it's all a bit hollow if he does 7 days on the smash, having not played. Although that was the drama last year. What's his face? Tatafu didn't actually play, did he? He got involved in that scrap at the end with Pollock. Tavita Tatafu.
Oh, yes.
Number 8, Tavita Tatafu, yeah.
Yes, he did, yeah. Because it was Pete Samu was playing at 8 then, wasn't he?
Yeah,
for Bordeaux.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I feel... I don't know which way it'll go. I think Bordeaux are... The consensus is, right, like pretty much every pundit you hear kind of says that if Bordeaux get it right, they just, no team, like when they're in kind of coaching meetings and stuff, seems to be able to live with them. And there clearly is like there's such a laser focus on this tournament from Bordeaux, which hasn't, whether it's because the top 14 has wobbled a little bit at points or because they're defending it, but they've basically been kind of untouched, haven't they, in this tournament to date, with the exception of perhaps the first half against Toulouse, and even then it was pretty impressive and commanding in the end. I think it's ominous for Leinster, but equally, I don't know. There's something about the fact it feels that as a non-expert, this Leinster team feels like it maybe didn't quite have the same amount of expectation as the ones in the last couple of years,
and therefore this is the year.
And therefore this is the year.
There's also like, I mean, I bet I haven't seen any previews yet, but I imagine that all of the previews this week will be, this is a classic example of attack versus defence. Like it is, it'll be interesting to see how I think Bordeaux with the likes like Jalabert, if Leinster are going to do rush defence, and their defence was exceptional against Toulon, but I feel like if anyone's going to break a rush defence, it's probably a Mathieu Jalabert with 1 million chip and chases, or just a whole lump it ahead and hope that Louis Bielbiere gets on the end of it tactic. I think, those two trump cards still is the key.
Go on, give me a prediction.
I think it will be quite similar to last year's final. Bordeaux will win with a cushion. Although I know it got quite tense at times last year, but I think ultimately the depth of Bordeaux is gonna
might just come through.
What about you?
Yeah, fair. I think Bordeaux by a score, maybe by a 7-point score rather than a 3.1. Based on what we've seen so far. But yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Is it 2:30 or something? It's a bit of a naff time, isn't it?
2:45, yeah. UK time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28-20 last year's final. I reckon that feels pretty similar. 28-23 maybe, but yeah. I would say Bordeaux will shade it. Partly because Leinster don't have a fly half.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at the Bordeaux team sheet from last week, and Antoine Ocagne on the bench for Perpignan.
Yeah.
Hadn't noticed that. The other one, Montpellier, Friday night against Ulster. They've been going very, very well. A
bit too well.
A little bit too
for
well.
my liking.
Yeah.
But I think they are. I mean, cliches abound, but they've got the winning habit right now. Like they seem to be rotating relatively frequently and picking up wins, edging tight ones. They're winning away. They are imperious at home with rotated sides. I know they weren't amazing against the Dragons, but I think that's basically like the tightest home game they've had in a while. I think they've got so much power. I've not seen loads of Ulster. I know they're playing really well at the moment, but I just can't see. Not many teams in the top 14 can live with Montpellier's physicality and power. So I don't quite see how a team with a lower budget and fewer big men could do. That's a really, really lazy take, I know, but
no, I think that's fair.
I can't. I just think they're winning. Like they're not it's still not pretty, but they're winning, and they're just getting over the line against teams, and their defense is really good. Yeah. The I know nothing about Ulster. I'm basing this purely off watching the game where they were very comfortable against Exeter. And in that game, at least, the pace they played at was quite something. So therefore, maybe just to round out that kind of cliche battle of style stuff, maybe they can go around them and tire out the big men, etc. We'll see. Montpellier quite like this competition as well, don't they? All right, let's park it there. We will be back to discuss all things Pro D2 in just a second. Before that, we have an interview with Cohen Bosch. Enjoy.
Just a reminder, as you may have heard earlier, the interview with Cohen Bosch is coming later on in the week and not in this episode. So to make sure you don't miss out on that very exciting interview with Breve and South Africa's Cohen Bosch, make sure you subscribe and look out for that bonus episode of the podcast. But for now, we're back into the Pro D2 action. On with the pod.
Wishing you could be there live for the big game, soaking up the atmosphere of the crowd. But too often, life gets busy, or the price holds you back. Priceline is here to help you make it happen. With millions of deals on flights, hotels, and rental cars, you can go see the game live. Don't just dream about the trip. Book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer.
Righto. Massive thank you to Cohen for joining us. Obviously, Breve taking on Provence at the weekend. Rob, the rest of the Pro
Day 5:30 UK time
on Saturday.
On Saturday.
So that's if you don't fancy watching the
Champions League final. No. Yeah. Is the Champions League final this weekend? No.
No,
No,
that's
it's,
next weekend. Isn't it?
yeah.
It's the Premiership this week. Premier League, this weekend.
Yeah, it's it'll be. I mean, there's no other sport on Saturday because Premier League's on Sunday. So you've watched Champions Cup, that's all done, and you want more ruggers, then Brive v Provence is the game, or Provence v Brive.
Yeah, the other. Well, actually, let's quickly go to the other end of Pro D2. Mont-de-Marsan will be in the access match, and they'll be travelling to Nice to play Nissa Rugby after. Well, they were done by a startling second half comeback by Narbonne down in the Nationale final, which is very cool.
What is going on with rugby at the moment? 20 points to 3 down at half time. They won 23-20. Narbonne have shown some real minerals in this run to Pro D2, haven't they? My thoughts on Narbonne are great stash, great social media accounts, looks like a pro setup. Glad they're back in Pro D2.
Yeah,
I feel like we've not in our covering Pro D2 with Ros Beefs. Narbonne haven't been in Pro D2, and they feel like they should be, and I want to go there.
Yeah, supposedly beautiful place. And also quite kind of on that train line, quite easy to Montpellier, to Toulouse, to Perpignan. Good one for the double header weekend, I'd say.
Yeah, which is key because we're losing Carcassonne, which is, despite being good for a double header weekend, we haven't done this yet. But I mean, it's not far from Carcassonne. But
no, but massive congrats to Narbonne. Congrats to Peter Beether. Would have been his last professional game.
Is he retiring, is he?
I'm pretty sure I saw he's retiring, yeah. So, pretty good way to go out. It's also looked like they have been going full noise with the celebrations. It looks like Narbonne, the town, has been erupting left, right, and centre.
Their fans have been epic. Like, whenever I've seen like clips of maybe it's their high end social media accounts, but their stuff looks absolutely sick. Their fans and their support.
Very, very cool. So Nice will host Mont-de-Marsan 31st of May. So if you're in that area, as someone on Instagram got in touch and happened to be, nice. Go along to that. That could be quite some occasion.
The Mont-de-Marsan, who racked up 50 at home, but it was basically done and dusted that they would be in the access match about 3 hours before the game kicked off, thanks to the LNR, I assume the LNR, reversing 2 of the points deducted for Biarritz, which,
surely
you said this. How has it taken all season?
It's ridiculous. Like it could have been.
That is.
I'm trying
to think
much more consequential.
I mean, why do it 3 hours before? It was genuinely like the afternoon of the final round of games, which is, from a drama perspective, kind of takes the edge off. But also, as a fairness of the competition, feels a bit.
Yeah, fairness to the players as well. It's
feels a bit
ridiculous.
Weird.
Really,
like those guys have been trained all week knowing that they've got a chance if they win. If they had put 50 on and Carcassonne had beaten Biarritz, that they were safe. They've done well to then rack up 50 and put in a good performance against Argennes, because that would have popped the balloon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, completely.
And also one rule for Biarritz, one rule for others, because where was the points reversal for Dax and Biarritz? Béziers, sorry.
Did you see what I did see? It was actually from the week before when they secured safety, but Dax had a cardboard bouclier de something that had minus 14 points written on it that they raised at the end of the game on the pitch. To celebrate their survival, which I think is fair enough. They've had an incredible season given the massive deduction they had.
Yeah, and they are no begrudging them conceding 50 away at near enough 50 away at getting nilled away at Van. Who cares?
No issues with that.
They did what they needed to do the week before.
Van, as obviously we knew, were home semi-final. Colomiers secured the second home semi-final with a typically impressive away win at Grenoble. Was it? If I made
it's a
that
really
up?
good result. That a bonus point win away at Grenoble, who had quite a decent team out. Grenoble will be glad that this season is done. I think there's a bit of a squad reshuffle a little bit. I think Romain Trouillou's leaving, which feels like quite a big departure, but a bit of a shocking season for Grenoble, really, in light of their last couple of years.
100%.
Colomiers, just keep finding results and like keep finding like really good results, because Provence had a fantastic result away at Valence, absolutely dusted them up front and got out to a 21-0 lead. Valence looked dreadful in this first half. That was also despite getting a real contender for own try of the season chalked off. There was just, I think it was Joris Mora just lobs it inside, like getting bundled into touch, just pops it up perfectly, and Caleb Muntz does a Jasua to a Sova trot to the line. But yeah, that was
Provence are
4
nicely.
wins in a row. So here's one for you, Richard. If you did a table of the last 6 games, so I think after the big break that they get during the Six Nations, if you did the final 6 games since then, all of the top 4, hang on, I wrote this down. Did I put this? All of the 6 teams that are 7 games in the playoffs have won 5 and lost 2 in the run-in. So they would all, it's pretty tight. There's a few points between. Van have got a bonus point in every game, so Van are unsurprisingly top, but they have got just as many wins and losses as everyone else. What I would say though is Provence are probably the best form team because they've got 4 in a row. They've won their last 4. And if you look at some of those results as well, like at home to Van, away at Valence Romans, Provence are the kind of coming team, I'd say.
Yeah, kind of at the right time as well, because before that they had a real wobble, didn't they? They lost sort of 4. Was it 4 in a row they lost before that?
Oh yeah, they kind of in February time. I think they were kind of wobbling, weren't they?
Yeah, and
then they came out of the Six Nations period. That was when their injuries were really bad, and they're now getting players back, which makes a huge difference. I feel like Provence Colomiers, what should be a Provence v Colomiers semi. I know Brive are one of the few teams that could stop Provence because their pack is equally good, and they've got guys like Courtney Laws who can, some proper top end play. They've got the kind of international caliber to match Provence. So that will be a belter on Saturday. But the winner of that at Colomiers, that could be a real clash of styles. And then quite cool that like one of Colomiers, Provence, Brive will have a shot at least one shot at the top 14.
Yeah.
And likely one of Provence or Colomiers will have a shot at the top 14. Like, it'd be quite cool to see one of those teams in there.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other one, we've got Valence go to Oyonnax on Thursday, which is quite a big, I was thinking like, I know it's all TV stuff, but 6 days versus 8 days turnaround is pretty big difference. I do feel a little bit for Valence, who obviously slightly lower budget, smaller squads, like they've had to stretch a little bit further, and then get, in spite of winning more games than the guys around them, have now got to go away on a Thursday on a 6-day turnaround to Oyonnax. It feels like a big challenge that for them.
Yeah, but then the winner of that then then it's Thursday again. So the winner of Provence v Brive has a 6-day turnaround into the Colomiers game.
Okay, interesting. Well, at least there's a little bit of phasing there.
But yeah, I feel like I just get the sense. I don't think the stats necessarily back it up because they got a good result last week, in round 29. But feels like Valence possibly just starting to run out of puff because they've had to play those guys so much. Like the fact that it was coming into this round, it was possible that they could get home semi-final and avoid Van in the knockouts until the final and stuff like that. And they've dropped 5th and could have easily had Brive won with a bonus point, which they very well. I mean, Brive nearly tripped up themselves against Nevers. But had Brive got one with a bonus point, then I think Valence would have finished 6th.
Yeah,
which feels strange because they've kind of been top 4 all season. So yeah. Also, like, where would Oyonnax have finished if just a couple of those games that they fell short of? Like they could have been home set, like straight 100%. To the home semis easily.
And I think they would have been my pick for a shot at the top 14 with Van, but they will have to go to Van, right?
But they could be. Like, they beat them a few weeks ago, right?
No, they lost both their games to last minute try. With some pretty ropey Pro D2 refereeing from memory. It was one of those ones where like that properly nobody saw the ball on the floor, but that was months ago. Nice. I think that's it on Pro Day. Then we just wait and enjoy what's to come over the next few weekends.
Cool. It's really cool that we can watch it all on FI UK. And given that we might be busy over the bank holiday, I know you're travelling and you're doing family stuff. I might be playing cricket. You can download it and watch it full
at your leisure.
At your leisure. So good.
On demand.
On demand, yeah. And actually, it functions because it's on YouTube rather than having to dick around with the Premier Sports app.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll wait and enjoy it. Let's come back and finish off with a couple of Petit-Fours.
This is a Bose moment. It's 10 blocks from the train to your apartment door. 10 basic, boring city blocks until the beat drops in Bose clarity. Streetlights become spotlights as you strut down the sidewalk, your own personal runway. With Bose, you get every note, every bass line, every detail, just as you should. Those 10 blocks, they could be the best part of your day. Your life deserves music. Your music deserves Bose. Find your perfect product at Bose.com.
All right, Rob, I usually like to try and steer clear of the transfers in the Petit-Fours because there's enough rugby, but one did catch my eye. There's always a lot of this time of year. The aforementioned Nissa Rugby is looking like it might be the home of one of our faves, the Rat, Vincent Rattez, potentially moving from Lyon to Nice, which would be good fun.
Oh, nice. God, that's another good signing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine if he's playing Nationale, yet another international player in
crazy
in Nationale.
And the other Nationale one I saw, which I thought was really interesting, was Tom Raffy, who's been out on loan at Clermont from Brive, is going to Périgueux.
Is he?
For next season, having not got much game time.
Must be some good bars and some good cigarettes in Périgueux.
Well, Périgueux city centre is absolutely beautiful. So he'll enjoy himself there.
Just an espresso and a few darts on a Saturday morning.
Quite right. Anything that's piqued your interest this week?
I've got two things which are essentially not related to rugby, but they are related to France, at least. The first one is the France football team announcement for the World Cup. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
It's like a little mini video, and it's I was trying to work out like how I would describe the theme. I think I watched Barbie recently, and it feels a little bit like that. It's that kind of like white picket fence. I guess it's kind of like meant to be like the American Dream or like some sort of American cartoony like series thing, but it's kind of going around suburbia and all the daily tasks like having breakfast and going to the shops and having a barbecue and each scene is like cuts to a new player and it names like their name and what position. It's like a minute and a half. I found it. I think Robbie Knock reposted it, but it's also on an account on X called Football Tweet, which I assume was actually originally posted by Equipe de France, which it was. So yeah, it's at their Equipe de France on X anyway, but it is quite cool. It's quite a cool little video. It's very, very well done, and it's quite similar. The vibe, I guess, is quite similar to the Adidas shirt announcement thing.
Okay, nice. That's cool.
Which we just don't do in the UK. We need, why is French rugby better? Why is France better? The other one is something I've noticed this week when I was in Perugia. There is a brewery, which I didn't manage to go to, called Birrificio Gramigna. Their logo is incredibly rosbeefy. I think it's a red cockerel on a white background with like a red ring around it. It looks very, very similar to some of our logos. So one for us. But they're a brewery from Perugia. They are one of 3 breweries from Italy going to the Paris Beer Festival, which is the 30th and 31st of May. And I haven't checked if there are even any fixtures that weekend in Paris, but I think Racing might be at home.
Is that the Racing Clermont game?
Let's have a look. Oh, Racing are away at Clermont. Stade Francais are at home to Bayonne on Saturday afternoon. So you could go to that and then saunter on down to the Paris Beer Festival, which is it's complete opposite end of town from Stade Jean-Bouin, but never mind. Or you could, go on the Sunday, go on back-to-back days. But if you are going to Stade Francais versus Bayonne, or indeed you're not, and you want to just go to Paris for a weekend, try and do a little double header with the Stade Francais and the beer festival. There'll still be tickets for the Stade Francais game, I imagine.
Very good. Excellent. The other thing I had on my list, which again is not very Petit-Foursy, but we mentioned it last week. There was a record attendance for a women's game at the Matmut Atlantique, which was on the BBC on Sunday. Had a little look at that. Was quite interesting for a period of time, and then England sort of ran away with it a little bit. There was a little bit of nothing consequential, but there was a bit of a grim irony. I felt it looked and felt, and all the commentators were very much on the side of England have really got the rub of the ref here, and the video ref as well, which, given the histrionics over what happened at the same stadium between Bath and Bordeaux a few weeks before, I thought it was quite ironic. Someone somewhere trying to kind of level out the playing field. But yeah, unfortunately for I think the interest maybe in the Women's Six Nations, the French team weren't able to get a win there. But Matmut again, just loud, so loud. There was a banging Marseillaise that came through, and they also at one point cut to Anthony Jelonch, and it was in the crowd, and it was one of those where they just lingered on him long enough to make it a little bit awkward. Just long enough so he sort of smiled and laughed and then didn't know where to look without it was nicely done. The perfect awkward window, I would call it.
Excellent. Well done, the Red Roses.
38 games in a row. That's a lot. Anyway,
it was good. It was close. It was good as competitive.
Yeah, it was. At least
France have bucked up their ideas a little bit, haven't they?
It's been tighter. Yes, the coach he's French Canadian. I can't remember his name now, but he coached Bordeaux to 3 Elite 1 titles, which is very cool. Loads of rugby coming up this weekend. Thursday, Pro D2, Friday, Challenge Cup, Saturday,
there should be some more detailed.
There
should be some more detailed Pro D2 videos teeing up the playoffs on our YouTube. I've said that now. That means I've got to do it. But yeah, there'll be a look out for some need to know on the run-in, the playoffs for Pro D2. Try and share it with your mates if they're new to Pro D2 or anyone new to Pro D2. We'll hopefully kind of give people a bit more info with which to dive into the excellence of the playoffs. Yeah, you'll see those on YouTube, X, Blues, kind of anywhere you might be lurking. You'll probably see one of those. But yeah, it should be a fantastic, long, extended weekend of French rugby across all of those competitions before we return for the denouement of the top 14 the week after. I think that's it, Rob. I think we're done. Thank you for listening. Enjoy, and au revoir. Au revoir.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Few things are truly timeless, because to last, you can't stand still. That's the beauty of Michigan. You can feel it everywhere. Like a fresh breeze on a riverfront stroll, or how the nightlife hums with electricity. Like an old friend with new stories to tell. So let the excitement bring you back and bring you together, season after season, in pure Michigan. Find your season at michigan.org.